Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Yalla Salesforce. We'll continue our growth journey with the Yalla Salesforce Trail Mix. Over the last couple sessions, we were focusing on the flow builder, understanding different type of flows, dealing with the screen flows, auto launch flow, record trigger flow, how can we do assignments, variables, database operations, and so on. In the last session, we took our user experience into the next level with the screen flows by achieving reactive screen. In today's session, we will be continuing our journey with the flows for how can we manipulate different and multiple records within the flow. So let's jump into it. So we will jump to the trail, which we started, build the flow with flow builder. And the last module in here is multi-record elements. So we started the module. The real focus for this module is in that transform elements, but this is gonna come on the second and third one, so stay tuned. But for now, we just getting started of that what we used to do before. We are dealing with only one record at a time, but the flow builder elements are designed to work with multiple, which are the collection as we discussed before. So you can create multiple cases or update multiple tasks in one shot. It's usually best to use multi-record features because, as we mentioned before in the best practices, it's not ideal to go to the database with every record change. But if you know that you need to update all the cases or all the tasks belonging to a certain opportunity or a certain account, it's good to do all your transformation, put it in a collection, and then shoot it to the database at once. And this is what we're going to play together. So starting by let's create a playground, let's install our package, and then we'll take it from there. All right, update multiple records from a trigger record change. So based on the simple common use example, like all businesses sometimes lose customer, they form customers when open a case, when with open task, with retention opportunity is lost, the support team want to automatically defer all case tasks related to that account. Not only can you create a flow to close those cases, you can do it with just one element as we saw it in here. So this will be how the flow will look like, and this is mainly is record trigger flow based on opportunity. When a record is updated and we have certain conditions for when this is going to happen, and since it's related cases, it has to be happening after save our action and related records. And then once we do that, we're going to update the records. So this is the scenario we are talking about it in here. So let's build it together. So let me launch our transforming elements. Let me take this guy in here. Let's maximize it. And then I will go for setup, go to the flow, and we will be creating a new record trigger flow. So flows, new flow, and I will go for trigger, record trigger flow. Our scenario in here that we need to do once when you create an update element, select update triggers, menu option to create an element, and so on. So our entry criteria is opportunity object. I'll do opportunity. And when it's updated, so this is what we need to achieve. Select the record is updated. And then I have multiple conditions. What are those conditions? The name contains retention, and the condition move to closed lost. All right. So the name contains retention, and then I will add another condition saying in the stage equals closed lost. So if we need to retain and we have an opportunity that got closed, we need to achieve this only once when we achieve those two conditions. And then we need to update all related cases accordingly. It cannot be a fast field. And as a refresher, we mentioned that in the fast field, this is only when I need to change the triggering records. But if I need to update or do something with related records, or have an action like post a chat or send an email and so on, it has to be actions and related records. So we did the right configuration. In here, I need to say update related records. So I'll come in here, say update related records. What do I need to do? For label, enter close cases. So we need to close all the cases belonging to it. And then how to find records? Update records related to the opportunity that flow is selected. So what do we need to do? For record related to opportunity, select triggering opportunity, then account ID, then cases. So opportunity, triggering opportunity, then account ID, then cases. So that means I'm updating all the cases belonging to that opportunity account. What do we need to achieve? We need to set in the set filter condition which cases the status doesn't equal closed. That means we are updating only the open cases. So status doesn't equal closed. All right. What do we need to do? In the set field, set the status to closed. All right. What else? That's it. So let's save that flow, save flow label, and that's about it. So what we are doing, record trigger flow, but now we are not just updating a single record or the triggering record. We are going, getting all the cases belonging to that account which are not closed, and then we are updating them to closed. That's it. So this brings us to another topic, which we updated multiple records. Now it's the time for retrieving multiple records. So if we got in here and we said, let's get records, and I said, let me get all the accounts, you will find in here you have an option. Only first record, that means it's only returning a single object or a single record. But if I went to all records up to a specific limit, which is like get me 5 records or all records, this is gonna return for me a collection. And as we agreed before, the collection can be of any data type, but it has to be the same data type. So if I have a collection of records of type cases, that means I have multiple cases recorded within that collection. Or if I have a collection of texts, I will have multiple texts within the same collection. So to retrieve and store multiple records in one variable, you use element that retrieve a single record but configure it differently. Get element, retrieve a single record, and store it in a record variable. Well, you can also configure a get record to get multiple, and this is gonna be a collection. Collection variable that can hold multiple text string, number, dates, even records, as long as the values are all the same data type. It has to be consistent. For example, a collection variable with number data type cannot store alphanumeric text. Why would you use collection variable? You use collection variable to store related information that flow process in the same way, such as group of records, evaluate, and update a collection. And we mentioned this is the best practice. All right, so let's jump into the next one. Create a collection variable with get record element. So in here, we are using custom objects. So we have onboarding project, and this is which will enable us for the next, which how can we use transform. All right, so I'll go back in here, leave, and I want to show you the data model. So I'll go for a schema builder. Schema builder, we have 2 objects part of the package that we just installed. One called the project and one called the project step. So project and project step are related to each other. For each project, we'll have multiple steps related to it. So I need to pass a project ID and then query project steps and get all the steps belonging to it. And then based on that, we will need to display it in a screen flow with a data table. All right, so I will do that. We have a demo ready. So this is what we'll be building together. So we have a project we created. We have 3 steps. And the end goal for this is to have a flow like that. And this is what we'll be achieving. Let me just go to the right flow. So I will run this. And if you notice that for this project, I have 3 steps. And when I will be we will be building this flow together. It will be giving you all the steps belonging to a certain project that you passed. You will be selecting 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you need, and then you will be saying, no, I need to change bulk status change. Then when I select a plan from here, hit next, go back. So rather than all of them in progress, when I refresh, you will find that we done bulk update for the same one. So this is the screen flow. This is how get record. This is how we will be displaying it. This is what we need to achieve. Let's jump to how we gonna achieve it. All right. So we understand now the how the data model is working. Let's go create this data together. So I'll go in here into onboarding projects. I'll be creating a brand new onboarding project. In here, initiation date. Let's say today. I will say target date is next week. I will have here any account. Show more results. Burlington. No Burlington. Okay. No account. And then I will just new account anyway. And I will say Yalla Salesforce account. Save it. Now we have an account. And now I created a project. Now I need to go in there. In the steps, I'll be creating 3 steps. Step number 1. And the start date is tomorrow. Save a new. I will say step number 2. Start date is tomorrow as well. And finally, step 3. And let's have it for the end and hit save. Now, we will need to add the status to it because this is what we're going to achieve. If you remember from the demo, we will be getting the statuses and we will need to bulk update the status. So to be more convenient, I want to add it to this related list. How can we do that? I will go for edit object. I will go for the lightning record page. Actually, it's still, we don't have lightning page, so I'll go for the page layout. And from the page layout, I will go for the related lists. I will find in here onboarding project steps. I will go for, I'm looking for the status already there, but let me get it up and hit save. Perfecto. All right, let's go back. Now we should have the stats. All right, now we have 3 steps with the stats. All what I need to do, I'm gonna start building a screen flow as instructed in here, and I'll be passing the record ID, which will be the project ID, and I will need to give the steps for all the related project steps, and that's about it. And we need to make sure that we got all the records, so it's a collection. So I'll go in here, flows, create new flow. And we are looking for a screen flow. I will be creating a variable called record ID. Record ID. And this is going to be a text, and this is available for input. And I will default it even to the project we created. So not every time I need to search for this one. So if it's empty, it's going to default it to that one. Now we need to get all related project steps. So let's follow the instruction in here, get steps. So get the steps. And I need in here project steps. When the project ID equals the record ID I'm passing. Now, in order to make it work as a collection, get everything related, I have to make it all records. So in here, equal ID, all records, and automatically store. This is by default. When we are taking our flows into the next level for Agentforce, so when we have an auto launch flow, which will be considered as an action within the topic and so on, if you are doing like the super badge for advanced flows for Agentforce, you will find the way to go moving forward. It will be a choose field and assign variable advanced. This will be the way to go. But for now, if you are building a simple screen flow, we can just automatically store all fields. And in the module for ScreenFlow, Salesforce mentioned that yes, it's okay to move on with the automatically store all fields. You don't need to specify which field as long it's not like huge custom objects that you are dealing with, which has a lot of custom fields. So, but if it's like project and project steps, it's okay to keep going with the automatically store all the fields. All right, what else? We just need to choose steps to update, save it. Here we go. Here we go. And we save to the flow. All right. So as soon we did this, you will find in here that we have a record collection variables onboarding project step. So this is what Salesforce did as a result of get steps with all record. It store it as a record collection. And that's about it for this specific unit. Let's jump into the challenge because the next step, we're gonna take this into the transform elements and then we will continue our journey. All right. Update case when contact becomes inactive. Create a flow that update all cases related to a contact when contact is marked as inactive. Reassign each case to a user the case contact report to. So it's mainly an update operation for all the case in order to change the owner as soon the contact became inactive. All right. So the task in here, and we'll get back to this choose step to update. Setup flow, and within the flows, we will go in here. If you haven't installed the package, do that now. Otherwise, we'll not be able to complete. Create a record trigger flow. So this is a brand new record trigger flow, record trigger flow. And it is going to be on the contact because we said when the contact became inactive, and this is an update. Active equals false. Condition active equals false. What do we need to do? Only when a record is updated. Okay, so contact updated, or condition active equal false. The second one, the report to ID is null equal false. So that means because we need to reassign it to reports to. So if it's null, it doesn't make sense. So reports to ID is null equals false. All right. And then it's only, yep. And then what we're gonna do? We need to update related records. So update case contacts. So I'll go in here, say update related records, and I will say this is update case contacts. Update case contacts in here, perfect, update records. So I need to go for the triggering contacts, and I will need to go for cases. What do we need to update? Only when the status doesn't equal close. If the case is already closed, I don't need to do anything. So I will go in here saying the status equals doesn't equal closed. Then what we need to achieve, we will need to change the owner, the set field value, field contact ID. All right. So we have a field in here called contact ID, and we want to change it to the reports to ID. So triggering contact, so contact, and it's reports to ID. That's it. And then we will be saving the flow. Here we go. Here we go. That's why we validated that triggering contact reports to ID has a value. So let's validate that. Woohoo! We made the first unit. Let's jump back to the project and the project steps. Now we want to talk about the transform element and loop element. At the very end, we need to we will be building a screen. We will be putting those project steps that we retrieved, put it in a data table, and then the user going to be selecting all of them. We want to loop over them and then do a transformation by updating the status. So this is the whole idea. How can we transform the selected data to be updated with a certain value that the user will be specifying in a pick list? So let's build it, and then we will go and read the module together. But let's start with building it. So we will need to have a data table. So capture record selection with a data table. So in order to do that, we will go back to the flow and we will add a screen element. So forget this one now. And I will go back to this is the one. Choose steps to update. I'll open the flow and let's add a screen element. All right, what this screen element name will be. All right, so it's a select steps to update. So I will be labeling it like that. It will give me already the API name. I will add a data table. Data table as well needs an API, so I'll be putting in there. Now, any data table will require a collection. Where we will be getting those collection from? We had just had an onboarding project steps from the get, and it created for me, since I said all records, it's created a collection. We will need to configure the rows. So we need to allow multi-select. So I will go in there, configure rows, and saying it's multiple. Minimum selection is 1. So because it doesn't make sense to be in here without selecting at least one element. And now I need to configure the columns. Now I need to go there within the table saying configure the columns. What do I need to do? I need to have the name. Done. What else I need to do? I need to see the status, because in order to update it, it's good to know which status we are in. So I will be adding that. So now I added the step name and I added the status. All right, what else? So we done that already. Now we need to update the selected project steps to a different status. So I need to have a pick list with a new status. So I'll come in here saying I need to have a pick list. I will add it down there. And in here, this is the name, new status. As we remember from having a pick list, any pick list needs a choice. And we have multiple choice option in here. So I'll go in there. We have 4 options for choice resource. Either you put it manual, or to build a collection and then pass it in here. So it will be depending on that collection. Or we have a record choice set, which allows you to pick a specific object and apply the filter criteria, and then it will be there. Or pick list to choice set, which will be inheriting the metadata for this pick list from an object. All right. So here we will be picking pick list choice set. What we will be naming it is step status. Where this be coming from? This is coming, we need to update the onboarding project object. So I will go in here saying project step. And what is it's a pick list and it's a status. That's it. All right. So now I'm getting all the statuses from the object. I will be getting all the project steps we have. And then once we do that, now we have all the display we need in place. So let's save it and let's debug it and see where we are so far. So debug, I don't need to provide a record ID because I already defaulted. So I'm assuming when I do that, now we have the 3 steps we created together, plus it's all in planned. And when I open this, we have the full list of the available project status. Lovely. The next step is to get all the selected elements from here and then specify a new value and then update it, have a new collection, and then hit the database with that collection. And now this is the magic of the transform element. Transform element taking a collection and allow you to transform the values for one field, all the fields, do all the magic you want, and then enrich it from another piece and have a brand new collection. So collection in, collection out. And this is what we're gonna achieve through the transform element. And we'll go all of this. We will be identifying and understanding the different types of transform and whether we can do a collection of records as an output, or we can have a collection of text, which will make a list of IDs for me. And this gonna make my life and our life way easier. All right. So back in here, I will say transform element. Again, all what we need to get all the selected records from the data table, take the value from pick list, and do the required update. So I'm putting in here a transform element. The data source for me will be the data table. So select data table. And now I need to have the selected rows. What is my target? I need to have another output with the same data type, which is project step collection record. But I need to override the status from its original status to a brand new status. So I need to come in here saying my desired output will be a record, and it's a collection, and it's a project step. So in here, so project, let me write it. Seems step is used a lot. Now I am having that. All what I need to do when the ID equals the ID, I need to come to the status and do an update. How can I do that? I can come in here in the middle between that dot and the field. You will find this magical formula. I can either to set a hard-coded value, which will allow you to write a status, set them all of them to whatever closed, or I can say no, I'm expecting an input from the user. Where this input gonna come from? So you have all the formula magic in here. So you need to have it from new status pick list, which was in the screen as well. Now back, I am saying update this collection, having a brand new collection with that ID, having this brand new stats. How about I did this? Like anything, I did a mapping and I'm not satisfying with that mapping. I did by mistake. How can I delete it again? Come into this middle part and say delete. You will be able to delete it. Now I have a brand new collection coming from the transform element with a brand new status in here. If that hit the database, we agreed. Whatever manipulation we are doing within the flow, this will not touch the database until you come in here and say, I need to update records. So update records. And when I do that, we done all of these great stuff. We did the connection between the IDs. We added the formula for the status. We put the new status. And now we can put a hard-coded value. We agreed on all of these things. Now, I need to update status. So I'll go in there, name it update status, update steps, my apologies. And now I will need either use the ID and all fields from a record or a record collection. Yes, and I now have a collection. Where it's coming from? It's coming from the transform. This is updated version of those project steps with the status associated to it. Now we're good. Let's save it and let's play with it. Let's hit debug. We have a project ID. Now we are saying I am selecting two. So the transform element input will be a collection of two records, selected rows with planned. And I am having in here new status. I'm setting in progress. The transform element gonna map in progress into those two status. And then I gonna hit the database. And as soon as I do that and go back in here, I am expecting, hopefully, that those two related became in progress. Yes, we made it. All right. So this is what was the goal for this unit. Let's go through all the great content that Trailhead helping us to understand and then wrap up this unit. To modify multiple records in Flow Builder, you could change each record one time, but that will be incredibly inefficient. A flow builder provides two elements in order to have multi-record manipulation and transformation. Transform element copies the value of one or more component variable, single or collection, to an auto-generated variable while also copies the finalized values. And this is what we did. We got the selected rows from a data table into a brand new collection, but we were able to transform the status. Same thing for loop. We can give a loop, a collection loop over item by item, but in order to change the status, you need to have an assignment. And within the assignment, you can do the manipulation you want. Transform are great for making similar changes to a group of records, such as clearing out their description field. We can just set it to null because it can easily make the same change for each record copied from the original connection. And loops are great for mass actions on group of records. What transform cannot do, but loops can do, we can put within the loop. If we came back in here, I can put within the loop, like send an email. For each record, send an email. But I can't do that in transform. So transform is mainly sharp focus on data transformation within a single variable or within a collection of variables. Now, if we need to update everyone, someone might say, all right, let's put loop, and within the loop, let's put an update, and we don't even need to build any collection or do any of that. We agreed before, regardless you are putting in flows or you are putting in Apex, this is extremely to be avoided. You cannot put a DML operation or an update or a database operation within a loop because you might easily hit a limit. So if this loop like having like 1,000 records, you're gonna hit the DML and SOCL and everything that govern a limit that can relate to a transaction within a loop. It can be easily hit. So avoid having any database operation within a loop. So what will be the workaround? The workaround is what we did. Construct a collection with whatever you need and then hit the database once with a collection. And this is what Trailhead in here is explaining. Loops run a group of records through element. Couldn't I also use a loop to make change to a group of records by putting an update record? All right, it's not the best practice because Flow will hit SOCL query limits. Every time an update record elements run, it counts as one SOCL query, and depending on your flow, it might not make many loop iteration to reach that limit. All right, so if I have the option to use a transform element, which will give a collection, change the value versus having a loop, and this loop having an assignment, the best practice in here saying transform elements will run approximately 10 times faster than the loop. So the way to go is the transform element. Now we will go through what we did. This is already what we did. And here is explaining what transform. So transform is getting certain ingredients and you need to have at the very end a cake. So it's just putting all of them together, doing some transformation, cracking your eggs, and you're gonna end up with the delicious cake. Same thing for transform element. You have raw material and you need to change the values in order to achieve your goal. And the transform element will help you to do that. We have two options in order to achieve the same thing we just did. Either to take a collection and end up with another collection with the transform value, and this is what we achieved so far in here, or this is the next step. The next step is, rather than doing that, you have the option to take all the IDs, put them in a collection of texts, and then saying update where ID in those ones. And this is very helpful when you even doing a get record. Get records, we can get records from like projects, and then if I need to get all project steps. So if I have a screen having multiple projects and I need to get multiple projects and I need to get the project step belonging to those projects that I got selected, I can't go easily and say, get me records where in this one. In order to say in, you have a collection, you need to have a collection of texts. The old way of doing it was to have a loop and then you constructed this collection. But now with the transform element became very easier. So I will save this as a new version and I will show you the other way of doing it. Now, and this is the next unit. We'll get back to the challenge after we finish the content. So do not stop this flow. All right. Now we are in here. We did the selection, but let me delete this guy. Delete this guy. Delete this guy. And let's start from the beginning. I will need to have a transform element. So transform from IDs. Again, what is my data source? It's the same data table. So select, it's the data table. Yep, this is the data table, which are the selected rows. But what is my output this time? It is a text and it's a collection. What do I need to do? Transform step IDs. So all what I need to do, I am saying, get me this ID and put me a collection of all these selected IDs. So I have a list of project step of IDs. So what do you think will be the next step? I just have a collection of IDs. So I'll go for, again, update records. And within update records, This is update steps. Do I have a record collection? The answer is no, but I can specify the conditions. Which object I need to update? I need to update project step. What do I need to do? Which IDs? So I need to say update all the project step IDs. So I will say record ID, but now it's in the IDs that I constructed using the transform step ID. What do I need to set? Same thing. I need to set the status from the new status. That's about it. We achieved the same goal, but rather than changing the collection of record, we got the selected IDs, and then using the update, I was able to say record ID in those IDs and set the status to the new status. Save it, debug it, do the same thing, select all of them, and now says canceled by customer. Now you will be noticing that I ended up the transform step ID having an array of IDs or a collection of IDs, putting all of them together. And now I'm going to the database and updating all of them together. Achieved the same goal, but with a different way. And this is exactly what we are achieving in here. Transform into IDs, having an update steps, and then put within the filters saying where record ID in this, and then set the status to status. Any questions? So far, so good? Lovely. Awesome. All right. So let's go back to the previous one, do the challenge, and wrap it for today. All right. In here, open the win multiple opportunities formula flow. So this is part of the manage package that we just installed. So I'll go in here. Let me close all of these ones because we already done a great job. Setup flow, and within flows, control find. Hopefully I'll find it. All right. Now let me keep scrolling. Control find. All right. This is the one we are looking for. What we are doing in here, screen flow, get opportunity. But which opportunity? That closed equals false. So we are just looking for the closed opportunities. And then what do? We are showing those opportunities from get opportunities. And you will notice as well that we will be doing in here or records, which means we have a record of collection, record collection in here out of those opportunities that account ID equal the account ID that I'm gonna pass plus the closed equals false. What do we need to do? We need to create a flow that all users select multiple opportunities in the same account and automatically update all of these opportunities to closed one stage. So it's a hard-coded closed one stage. Use the formula in the transform element to modify the opportunity collection variable values. All right. So open this flow. After the select opportunity to win, add a transform element. All right. So we have the screen flow already built. And I will add in here transform element. And within the transform element, what do I need to map it? Transform opportunity collection. Here we go. And again, it's a selected ops and it's gonna be the selected rows. So selected ops data table, and this will be a selected row. On the target data, I need to create a record collection. Will be what? Will be a record collection of type opportunity. Record collection of type opportunity. Create. What do I need to update? I need to update the closed date to be today and the stage name to be closed one. So let me find the stage name. I'll come in the middle, saying a formula, and this is the formula. Actually, I don't need the formula. I need to have the hard-coded value. I can just still put it in here, but let me show you the other way that we mentioned last time. So in here, I will come in here and I will say just the value, closed one. What else? I need to put the close date. Close date. Where is the date? close date, and I need to put date. So in order to put this, I can go for the formula and say I need to have today. That's it. All right. Now we transform. If we came back, and this has to happen with this ID equals ID. So I'm mapping the ID. I am putting the close data formula, which is the today date. I am putting on the stage name a hard-coded value, which is the closed one. Label, update opportunity, save it. Now we need to hit the database, so I will be saying an update records, update ops, and I will say this is the transform operation. That's it. Save it. Activate it. And now I'm passing account ID. If it has multiple opportunities that has a whatever condition in here, close equal false. Now it will be visible and we can update them to closed one. That's it. Set IDs, values, record collection, transform. We should be good. So let's check. Any questions? All right, we made it. The next one is to experience the IDs, not the record collection. All right, so nothing new in here. All what we need to do, the same thing. I will just go with win text flow. So I will be going back in here to the flows and I will find, now it's text. Same thing. I will have get opportunity, closed equal false, or records. I have the same select opportunity to win. And now I will have a transform element. The transform element will called by text IDs. Here we go. The option in here will be again the select opportunity, selected rows. But now I will say this is a text and it's text collection. And all what I need to do, I need to take those IDs, great IDs that I selected from the table, put it in there. And after I do that, I will need to go and say update records. We done that, we mapped the text, we did it collection, we mapped the IDs, and now update opportunity in a collection. What I will be updating, I will be updating a specified condition, which object is gonna be the opportunity. And same thing, I need to say where ID, which is the opportunity ID in this transform collection. What do I need to set? I need to say close date equals today, which will be the running flow interview current date. And I need to set the stage to be closed one. Those are the two things that we need to transform. So set this where opportunity equal transform, set the close date equal current date, and the stage to closed one. Save it. And let's validate that we did everything as expected. Any questions? So we were able to understand that we can update multiple records. We can get records in a collection. We can transform the element, transform the data using two methods, either to take a collection, having an output collection with transform values, or having the collection take the IDs, put it in a text collection. And as a result, we can go for the update records and pass this text collection in and then do all the required modifications. If there is no other questions, thank you very much for attending today and see you next time. Continue that session. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.